We've had a few good potato harvests this year. We've also had a couple of poor ones. A lot of that's been down to this weather, and we all know that. We've had quite a few comments on here from people saying that the plants aren't doing quite as well as they normally do. And this is a perfect example of one of those. It's part my fault though, to be fair. We put some carrots second earlies in. At least I think the second earlies. I'll have to check that. But either way, the foliage is completely dying back. And the plants have never got too much of a size at all. But there's two reasons for that, and one of them is my fault. First, we know that weather's been rubbish. But secondly, I didn't fill this container up. You're supposed to fill it up to get more potatoes, we all know that. And for whatever reason, I completely forgot about this one. So it's only half full. So I'm seriously not expecting a deal at anything from this. But because the foliage looks pretty tired, I think I might as well just tip it anyway. If I get 2 or 3 potatoes out on it, that'll do. It just seems pretty pointless leaving this plant to carry on growing any longer. I mean, if we cut one of these stems off, look how skinny these stems are, and the leaves are all yellow, apart from the few at top. But most of the foliage is dying back. No good to nobody. So, a mini potato harvest today. And I'm pretty sure mini is what it's going to be. But I don't want you to miss out on any action from this container at all. So I'll bring in a little bit closer. So let's ease tension and see how many meals we get out of this one. Well, depending on your preference, we could have 1 meal. That's only if you like worms. For some reason, I'm not feeling overexcited about this. Let's just have a look. Well, not much or anything to see. And we can't get excited about that because that's the seed potato. So that's no good. Got a mini one. Got one a little bit bigger. And then we've got this one. It doesn't look very good, that. I think it's got too wet. It's still firm, so maybe we can use it. And there's another one. We can see that there's a few little tiny ones that we're trying to grow, but they just never seemed to be able to do it. I'm not surprised this year. That's another seed potato turned to mush. And this is exactly what I expected. There's nothing else in this container. And that's why I wanted to empty it. Apart from 2 tiny little ones that were never going to do anything anyway. But at least we can save this compost. There's nothing wrong with it. What we'll do is we'll let it dry out because it is very wet. We only got 4 little potatoes out of that container, and one is quite small as well. But that's because it had a very limited amount of compost in there, and the weather's been rubbish. The compost in that container's wet through. So it's pretty much had everything against it since we started. But I'll take what we've got, we'll scrub them, we'll peel them, and we'll get a little bit of something out of them. And you know that saying, I don't need to say it again. That had 2 seed potatoes in it. We saw one had completely gone to mush, but this is the other one. And it looks like this seed potato's done virtually nothing at all. I'll throw it in garden. Maybe it'll come back next year, bigger and better. This container has also got very good drainage, and it's because we've had nothing but rain for the best part of 6 weeks. These containers are constantly saturated. That's not doing us potato plants any good at all. But we always take rough with smooth, good with bad. That weren't a very good one at all, but we've still got a little meal out of it. I know we've got quite a few more tomatoes that's ready to harvest, and I always say as soon as they're ready to harvest, take them off, because all you're doing is slowing down that ripening process for everything else that's on there. Just to lift us day a little bit, we'll grab a few tomatoes, and I think that'll do me for this afternoon. I have noticed that we've got quite a few more of these sweet millions that need picking now. So we're not in a position at this time of year to leave fruit like that. Really nice and ripe, those. In fact, I'm going to take all those off, even that one that's slightly orange, because that won't take long to ripen anyway. And then the same off here. Every now and again we get something that's a little bit disappointing in comparison to other things, but we've always got something to cheer us up. Not that I need any cheering up, I'm quite fine, to be fair. I'm just going to get as much as I can off here today. I've noticed there's some further up which have ripened, and then above those is the reason why we need to take as many tomatoes off at this time of year as we can, because there's absolutely loads there that's not even started ripening yet, which is the reason we need to clear as many as we can. And a nice big bunch just over here. We have gone over this before, and if you don't take them off, they'll over ripen and then they'll split. So far these are perfect. So the sweet million plants are doing really well this year, and a nice big bunch of them here as well. Once again, just above, some more that's on the way. So that's not a bad little harvest for now, and you've just seen there's so many more to come. And I think we're getting to the last for his cherry falls now as well. So it's a case of take what we can, maybe make some more sauce up. But after all that waiting, we can't turn these down because there's still loads on them. They're going to be really nice and sweet, those. Take all these top ones. So far I haven't got any more splitting, which is great. So we did have one or two the other day. But these plants will soon be finished. You can see that they're looking quite tired now. But I've said it before, they've been brilliant plants. We're definitely doing some more cherry falls next year. So I've took most of those off, and surprisingly there's still loads on it that's virtually ripe. We'll be coming back to those in a couple of days and getting yet another harvest. This plant has about finished now, and it's been struggling, this one, just lately. That's another one that's split. I'll throw that over there and we'll get a volunteer tomato plant next year. As you can see, there's a few of these that's splitting, so they're no good really. We can't store those, but that little one is perfectly good. I'll take off what's left of these really small ones. Even that one, it's as big as a pea. Just going to have a look at Italian plums. I've not been here for a couple of days, but I think it's definitely time for another harvest of these amazing Italian plum tomatoes. Get off these whatever we can this year. Brilliant. That's a nice big one. We've got some on bottom. I like to try and get them as soon as possible, even if they're not fully ripe, because they're more susceptible to damage from insects, but no signs of that blossoming rot anymore. This plant has been a bit of a late starter, but look how big that is. No damage, and a really big plum tomato. And we've got a few more on there as well. So if we're going to take an harvest, we might as well take a good one and get some of that sauce made up. We've got a couple of batches already in freezer, so at this time of year we need to get as much as we can from these plants to keep making more. They're very orange, we'll leave those. And I think I want to pull these peppers up. They're not doing anything. I think because they're planted next to these tomato plants, there's too much competition going on for nutrients, and it could have been what's caused some of the problems this year. Two plants fighting for the same nutrients. That's got a flower on it and a little pepper. I'll leave that. This has got nothing on it. Neither has that. Or that. Or that. And that's only got a really tiny pepper on it. So at this point in year, we'll get rid and let whatever nutrients we put into this soil feed the rest of these plum tomatoes. I have noticed one thing though. These outdoor tomatoes have also got ripe fruit on them again, which is great considering they're outside in this crap weather. So even more for us to take. Brilliant. Slightly orange ones I'll leave. They seem to be coping quite fine outside. We'll take everything that we can today. Let's have a quick look in that container garden. We have got a few ready on this plant, but they're quite orange. But next to it, a tiny plant in a very small container has also got some ready for us. So they're all coming off today. Again, this plant is about done. I'll grab a strawberry while I'm here. And another. There's another strawberry there. And there. This plant has been struggling outside. It's still got more tomatoes on for us. I think the temperatures have caused lots of problems with this plant. A lot of leaves are dying back now. But it's still putting one last effort in for us. For these fresh, homegrown tomatoes. I've just got one last stop to do, because I spotted these this morning. Really good ripe cucumbers. They've got to come off. If we don't take them off, we won't get any more. And there's another one just behind it that's even bigger. Let's get that off as well. Look at the size of that. Brilliant. One more coming there. And one more coming there. And oh, I didn't realise this. This is a genuine miss. That's been on soil, so it's slightly yellow on the bottom, but the majority of that is ripe. How did I miss that? So that's 3 we've got. What seemed to start off as quite a poor harvest, all of a sudden became that much better. We started with an handful of potatoes from that container, but then we did get a few strawberries. But it does seem that the gift that keeps giving all year long are these tomatoes. Look how many more tomatoes we've just picked. Absolutely loads. And more of those amazing Italian plum ones, which we're using for as sauces this year. We've already just made an Italian plum tomato sauce, and if you've not seen it, there's a link in the description to the cooking channel that shows you how we made it. And it did make a really tasty sauce because we mixed it with very sweet cherry tomatoes as well. So if you've not seen that video, pop over to the cooking channel and take a look at that, and then you'll know exactly what to do when you get really big harvests of tomatoes that you can't eat before they spoil in your fridge. Maybe hit that subscribe button while you're over there, because we have got videos on there also showing you how to preserve cucumbers, cabbage, beans and peas. Lots and lots of things that you might find interesting if you're harvesting your plants now. But if that's what we're going to keep getting every week or so, I say keep them coming. The more you pick, the more they ripen, the more you harvest, and the more you can preserve. So once again, very pleased with what we're getting so far. We've got loads more potato plants out there. That was the worst result we've had so far, but considering the harvests we've done previous, well, we managed to harvest 7.2 pounds of potatoes from one small container. We've got no complaints here. So make sure you pick things once they come ripe, then everything else further up is going to ripen even quicker, and you'll be taking harvests like this right up until end of season. If you're interested in seeing what else we harvest over the next few weeks, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I look forward to seeing you there. Take care.